Okay, so we've been talking about solubility, and what solubility is, it's the maximum amount of a solute that will dissolve in a particular solvent. And we have been talking about a couple of things that affect solubility. One of those is temperature. All right, so remember the trend for solids and liquids tends to be that the higher the temperature, the more solute that can be dissolved. All right, if you think about an example like sugar water, um, the higher the water's temperature, the more sugar that you're going to be able to dissolve. All right, same is true of just about any solid solute in a liquid. The trend is reversed for gases. In general, a cold liquid will be able to dissolve more gas than a warm liquid. All right, and there's a couple of examples of that. Primary one that you'd be familiar with: warm soda is going to go flatter faster if you left it out on the counter than if you left the same thing in the fridge. All right, pressure is another factor that affects solubility, um, and this is only going to affect the solubility of gases in a liquid. All right, so the higher the pressure is, the more of that gas will be able to be dissolved in the liquid. All right, this is why when you open up a 2 liter of Coke, the second that you open it, you're going to start to see these bubbles. And what these bubbles are undissolved bubbles of carbon dioxide, and they can't dissolve because this is now under a lower pressure. All right, they were perfectly able to dissolve when the bottle was under pressure. All right, so moving on, we want to talk about rate of solution. All right, so remember that what solubility talks about is the maximum amount that could dissolve, but it doesn't say how quickly things would dissolve. All right, you could have a solute where a lot of it would dissolve, but it would just take a while. All right, so for example, sugar is extremely soluble in water. You can get about 211 grams to dissolve in about 100 milliliters, which is the same as 100 grams of water. All right, you can actually, when you have a saturated solution of sugar water, you actually have more of the solute than you do of the solvent. All right, so just because it can dissolve an incredible amount of sugar, it doesn't mean it happens fast. It actually happens very slow. And you probably realize this if you've ever tried to dissolve, add a teaspoon of sugar to iced tea. All right, the sugar initially just sinks to the bottom of the glass. All right, if you stir it for long enough, it will dissolve, but it takes a long time. So, in contrast, salt is a lot less soluble, but a pinch of salt would dissolve much faster. All right, so it's important to remember that the solubility, which is how much of a solute will dissolve, is a different question from the rate of solution, which is how fast it will dissolve. All right, so essentially, when we're talking about rate, we need to talk about what needs to happen whenever something dissolves. All right, whenever something dissolves, which is called dissolution, it requires a solvent particle to collide with the solute particle with enough force to separate that from the neighboring solute particles. All right, so just looking at a little picture of this, if we wanted to think about what happens when, for example, a crystal of salt dissolves. All right, well, the water molecules have to at some point collide with these solute particles with enough force to dislodge them from their other solute neighbors. All right, so anything that either increases the rate or the frequency that the water molecules or the solvent molecules contact the solute, or the force which they contact the solute particles, is going to increase that rate. All right, so what are going to be some factors that could affect either the force or the frequency of those collisions? So first of all, temperature. So remember that temperature is just a measurement of the amount of kinetic energy or the motion, or you could think of it as the speed of the solvent particles. All right. So therefore, when you heat up the solvent, the solvent particles are going to speed up, and this is going to increase both the force and the frequency of those collisions. All right, and when that happens, that's going to increase the rate of the of how fast things are going to dissolve. All right, so one thing I want to point out is that this effect is separate from the temperature's effect on solubility. All right, so temperature is also a factor in solubility. So I wanted to go over that in this little diagram right here. So I changed a couple of these numbers right here so that the data would be more consistent with the data that I have right here. Notice that all of these are per liter of solvent, so I've made these all per liter. All right, so I've got two situations going here. So we've got 1,000 grams of sugar in a liter of water and 6 grams of this chemical called benzoic acid, which I've called Ba, in a liter. All right, exact same thing down here. All right, so could we dissolve 1,000 grams of sugar in water at room temperature? Well, let's take a look at the data. It says right here at room temperature you could dissolve 2,000 grams of sugar at room temperature. All right, so could we dissolve 1,000 grams? Yeah, we could. All right, so why is it that when you dump all that sugar into the water, you see it sitting at the bottom? It's not because it can't dissolve it, it's because it's slow to dissolve. All right, in contrast, let's put 6 grams of benzoic acid in a liter. All right, well, this says that we can only dissolve 2.9 grams at that temperature. So we could not dissolve all of that benzoic acid. Some of it would dissolve, but you'll see some sitting at the bottom. And notice the similarity between these two solutions. Let them have solute sitting at the bottom. This one is because it's slow to dissolve. This one is because it won't dissolve. All right, you could let this stuff sit there forever and it still won't dissolve. All right, down at the bottom we've got the same situations, and we're just going to do different things to these. So in this situation right here, we're going to heat both of these guys up to 90 degrees. All right, and let's see what happens. All right, they're going to go clear. All right, why did the sugar water go clear? It's not because you could dissolve more. All right, the original water could have dissolved it. It's just that this went clear because you sped up the process of dissolution. This is a rate of solution issue. All right, with the benzoic acid, you're now going to where at 90 degrees you could dissolve 45 grams. All right, so this dissolves not because you're speeding it up. Well, actually it would affect the speed that it would dissolve, but the primary reason that it goes clear is because you're allowing it to dissolve more. All right, by contrast, let's take those same solutions and just let them sit there at room temperature for 5 minutes. All right, nothing's going to happen to the benzoic acid. All right, remember, at room temperature you can only dissolve 2.9 grams, so it doesn't matter how long you let it sit there, it's still not going to dissolve that extra solute. All right, with the sugar, one thing that you're going to notice is that you still have some sugar at the bottom, but there's less of it. All right, you notice as time goes on, since it will eventually dissolve that much sugar, you're going to see less and less over time. All right, so going back to the above situation, we heated those both up to 90 degrees, and we're now going to let them cool back down. All right, with the sugar water, all right, notice it can dissolve 2,000 grams. When you let it cool down, all that stuff stays dissolved. It is quite capable of dissolving that. However, with the benzoic acid, when you cool it back down, you go from, if you've got 6 grams dissolved in there, when it cools back down, it can't dissolve all that. All right, so that you'll see that material becomes solid again. All right, it becomes undissolved. All right, so what would happen in the situation here where we just let these things that were sitting at room temperature sit for a while? The sugar is going to eventually become totally dissolved. All right, whereas the benzoic acid will stay undissolved. All right, so remember, after a day, the sugar water is going to look the same no matter what you do. All right. So the question is, why do people, for example, when people make sweet tea, why do they heat up the solution? All right. It's not so that they can dissolve more. Would heating up the sweet tea allow you to dissolve more sugar? Yeah, I mean, it would increase the solubility of the sugar, but the main reason that people do it is just to speed up the process. All right, you can get done in 5 minutes what would ordinarily take you about a day or so to do if you didn't heat it up. All right, so remember, temperature affects both solubility, the amount that you can dissolve, and the rate that you can dissolve. All right, another thing that's going to affect solubility is, the rate of solution is agitation. That's just a fancy way of saying shaking or stirring. All right, so why does stirring sugar help speed it up? All right, it increases the frequency of the collisions of fresh solvent particles with the solute particles. All right, but keep in mind that stirring something is only going to affect the rate at which something dissolves. All right, it will not allow you to dissolve more of the solute. All right, once you get the total amount, the maximum amount of solute dissolved, stirring that solution anymore will not allow you to dissolve any more of the solute. All right. Last factor is particle size. All right, what happens if you take the sugar and you crush it up into a powder? All right, that's going to dissolve faster because remember, only the outside surface of the solute particles are in contact with the solute. All right, so if you've got a big sugar cube, let's say that these are a lot of sugar molecules, only the sugar molecules on the very outside are in contact with the solvent. But if you crush that material up, there's a lot more of the solute particles that are in contact with the sugar. The solute particles that are in contact with the water. Therefore, the frequency with which those solvent particles can make contact with those solute particles goes up. All right. So again, this will not affect the solubility. All right. It doesn't matter when you have this data. Notice it doesn't say, you know, the amount of powdered sugar versus table sugar that would dissolve. Sugar is sugar. All right. The size of the particles would only affect how fast it dissolves, but it would not affect the maximum amount that you can dissolve. All right, so hope that helps, and we will be doing more videos soon.